Bonjour et bienvenue à Marianne Estate. Je vous invite à découvrir avec moi notre superbe propriété viticole située à Stellenbosch en Afrique du Sud. Or in other words, welcome to Marianne Wine Estate. I invite you to discover our wonderful wine estate located in Stellenbosch, South Africa. Please join me for a tour and a quick taste. We're now standing on our panoramic tasting deck, which is adjoining the main cellar and the tasting room. We thought this would be the perfect location to introduce the wine estate to you because of these views, but also because we're looking onto our vineyard. And this is where everything starts. The property was acquired in 2004 by a group of French investors who hail from the Saint-Emilion region, the right bank of Bordeaux. Around that time there was a lot of interest for South African wine, South African production from all around the world, and foreign investment came into South Africa. Marianne Estate is one of the few farms today that is still owned by a French consortium and led by a French winemaker in terms of its winemaking direction. Mr. Doriac is our lead wine consultant, and he is a winemaker himself from Saint-Emilion. He has 2 properties there and a property in Pomerol. And that connection to France is really the defining element, the defining engine of what Marianne represents and stands for. We're going to move to the cellar a little bit later where I'll talk about the wine specifically, but I want to impress on you who are about to discover these wines that what you are drinking is a combination of South African fruit, South African terroir, this beautiful rich soil that we have combined with incredible sunlight and beautiful rainfall in winter, and a French winemaking philosophy, a right bank approach to wines. So we're now, we find ourselves in the barrel room, in one of our 2 barrel rooms on the estate. We're located 2 levels below where we were just a minute ago, upstairs on the balcony. This is where the wines retire in style. This is where the magic happens for nearly 2 years, where the wine and the wood get incorporated to form the final product. What you're seeing here is very much a French styled barrel cellar. These are French oak barrels. We get them directly from France. Thanks to that relationship that I was talking about earlier between us and the vineyards on the right bank in Saint-Emilion, we actually have privileged access to exceptional wood. Our wine consultants in France are offered some of the best oak there is available on the market, and the barrels are then selected in France and shipped down here for the wines to age and to evolve. What you see here is a lot of new wood, and in the winemaking world, wood is an important or critical component of making wine, but you have to make the right wines for the right wood, and with the destination, with the final outcome in mind. And the style that Marianne represents is rich, round, ripe, with these wines that are full of life, full of fruit, but have extremely soft, rounded tannins. And how do we accomplish that? What you see here is basically the end of a process. The beginning of the process starts in the vineyard. And when we were sitting upstairs and I pointed the vineyards out, that's really the crux of the matter. And at the end of the growth stage is the date where you pick. So at Marianne, we pick extremely late. In fact, we probably start harvesting when most people are already done with their harvest. The reason for that is that we want our fruit to start slightly evolving inside the berry. We want those tannins to start moving from the skin into the pulp so that the tannins are ready for these barrels. And when the wine is finally made, when it's through the process, through the cellar, and is finally dropped into the cellar, into this barrel cellar and into these barrels, the tannins of the wine are already extracted fully and they're ready to interact with the wood tannins. And that's what happens over a long period here. These barrels are slightly porous. Oxygen will come into the wine to give it that, to allow the molecules, the wood tannins and the wine tannins, to interact with one another, and for the wine to essentially create itself. And so that takes a long time. These barrels, as I said, are slightly porous. It's imperceptible, except that if I were to open one of these, there would be a tiny little bit of air at the top, and that's that wine evaporating, air coming in, the wine micro-oxidizing, and the tannins binding together. What you get is a uniquely South African wine, South African terroir, South African fruit, combined with a French wrapper, a French touch. And when I say French, what I mean here specifically is Saint-Emilion, Pomerol, the right bank of Bordeaux. So I hope that when you taste these wines, you will remember what I mentioned here about the ripeness and the soft tannins. The ripeness comes from when you harvest and how you work your grapes from the vineyard, and the softness of the tannins comes from is the result of the work in the cellar and the maturation here in the barrel cellar.
So I thought it would be a good idea to discuss the other things that we do here at Marianne from our new tasting room. We dedicated this new environment last year, and it's been a fantastic success with our visitors. Marianne is one of these full-fledged wine estates where you can eat, sleep, taste, and as of next season, starting September 2014, we're also going to have a Bulls Court in keeping with our Frenchness. The tasting room environment was meant to be a very relaxed, non-threatening, classical environment. My colleagues who work in here will sit down with you and enjoy a glass of wine as they introduce what we do. And you're welcome to spend as little or as much time here as you want. There's no predefined recipe or menu. You can dwell for an hour and a half on the Cabernet if you like, or you can go through 9 wines inside of 10 minutes. The experience that we want you to have here is that of relaxation, comfort, enjoying the journey, enjoying the discovery of these wines, and spending a wonderful afternoon with us hanging out here.